The first thing I noticed about the party wasn't the music or the lighting, it was how carefully everything had been arranged to look effortless. Crystal glasses, soft gold accents, people laughing just a little too loudly. My father moved through it all like he owned not just the house, but the air itself. Maybe he did. I stood near the bar in a pressed uniform that felt heavier than it should have. Not because of the fabric, because of what it represented and who was looking at it. He noticed me eventually. His eyes dropped to the patch on my sleeve, then to the tray in my hand. There was a pause, small enough that no one else would have caught it. Glorified medic, he said, not loudly, but not privately either. Just serve drinks. A couple of his guests smiled in that polite, uncertain way people do when they're not sure if something is a joke. I didn't respond, not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I'd learned over time that anything I said would become part of a different conversation, one where I was still the child trying to prove something. So I nodded once, adjusted the tray, and moved on. It wasn't the first time he'd reduced me to something smaller than I was. And maybe that was the problem. It didn't feel sharp anymore. Just familiar. Still, my eyes kept moving. Scanning wasn't something I turned on and off. It sat in the background constant. The way someone held their glass. The slight sway of someone who'd had too much. The tightness in a jaw, the shallow rise of a chest. People thought presence was about being seen. For me, it had always been about noticing. That's when I saw him, mid-50s maybe, standing a little apart from the louder groups. His hand was at his collar, fingers pressing lightly like he was adjusting something that wouldn't settle. I slowed just slightly. His breathing didn't match the room. Too shallow. Too fast. His shoulders lifted higher with each inhale, like he was working for it. I stepped closer, offering a glass out of habit more than intention. He didn't take it. For a second, our eyes met. There was something there, not panic exactly, but awareness. Like he knew something wasn't right, but hadn't decided what to do about it yet. Sir, I said quietly, are you feeling okay? He opened his mouth to answer. He never got the chance. It happened fast, the way these things usually do. 1 second, he was upright. The next, his body gave in to gravity like a switch had been flipped. The glass in my hand hit the floor. I didn't hear it break. The room reacted the way rooms like this do, with confusion first, then noise. Someone gasped. Someone else laughed nervously, like it might still be part of the evening. I was already moving, down on one knee, then both, checking responsiveness. No reaction. Airway. Breathing nothing. There's a moment right there where everything else falls away. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's just clear. I tilted his head back, started compressions. Counted under my breath, steady, controlled, call emergency services. I said, not looking up. Now. There was hesitation, not defiance. Just the kind of delay that comes from people not expecting to be needed. Now. I repeated, sharper this time. Footsteps scattered. I was aware of the crowd forming, but only distantly. Faces leaning in, pulling back. The music had stopped at some point. I didn't look for my father. He wasn't relevant here. What mattered was the rhythm, the depth, the timing. 30 compressions. Breath. Again. Somewhere behind me, a voice cut through the noise. Clear space. Let them work. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. There's a difference between authority that's performed and authority that's lived. This was the second kind. I didn't turn, but I felt the shift. People moved. The air changed. Good form, the voice said. Closer now, measured. Observant. I glanced up briefly. 4 stars on his shoulders. Older, composed, watching everything without urgency but with complete attention. A 4-star general. Our eyes met for half a second. He gave a small nod. Then he said it. Listen to them. Not to the room. Not to anyone in particular. Just said it. It landed differently than anything else that had been said that night. Not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it was simple. Final. There was no debate in it. No room for interpretation. I went back to the rhythm. Time stretched in that strange way it does in emergencies. Seconds folding into each other. Movement becoming mechanical, precise. Then a breath. Small. Uneven. But there, I paused just long enough to reassess. Another breath followed, stronger this time. The tension in the room shifted again, but I didn't let it pull me out of focus. Stabilize. Monitor. Wait for the professionals to take over. When they arrived, I stepped back without ceremony. Gave a quick report. Watched as they lifted him onto the stretcher, oxygen mask in place. And then it was over. Not the party. It would continue eventually. These things always do. But that moment, that fracture in the evening where something real had pushed through. I stood, adjusting my sleeves out of habit more than necessity. That's when I saw him. My father wasn't speaking, wasn't moving really. He was just standing there, looking at me, not with anger, not with pride either. Something quieter than both, like he'd been handed information he didn't know what to do with yet. Around him, people were different now. Subtly, the way they stood near me. The way their eyes lingered a second longer before looking away. No one said anything exaggerated. No applause, no declarations, just space. The general passed by me on his way out. He paused briefly. You kept your head, he said. That's rare, I nodded. Thank you, sir. He didn't stay for a response. Just moved on like